All right, let's get right into it. State versus federal. Who's really in charge here? Is it the folks in Washington, D.C., or the government in your own state capital? Well, in this explainer, we're going to figure out who's truly calling the shots.
Okay, think about this. Who controls the schools? Who controls the money? What about the roads you drive on every single day? You might be surprised, but the answer to all of these questions, it all comes down to one single, really important idea.
And that big idea? It's a little thing called federalism. This is basically the official rule book for how power gets split up in the United States.
So, what is federalism really? Well, you can think of it like a partnership. It's a system where power is deliberately split between the big national government, that's the federal government, and all of the individual state governments.
Okay, probably the easiest way to get this is to imagine a giant highway. This highway has different power lanes. Some lanes are strictly for the federal government, and some are just for the states. So let's take a look and see who's supposed to be driving where.
And right away, you can see the divide is actually pretty clear-cut. The federal government, it handles all the big, national-level stuff, right? We're talking the economy, declaring war, trade with other countries. On the other hand, the states, they control things that affect your daily life, things that hit a lot closer to home, like your local schools, getting that driver's license, and the local police.
All right, let's start in the federal lane, and this first one is huge. Controlling the money. Only the national government gets to print money and set the economic policy for the entire country. You know that dollar bill in your wallet? Yep, that's pure federal power right there.
And this one, it's absolutely non-negotiable. Your state, say California or Texas, can't just decide to go to war one day. No way. The power to declare war is 100% federal, and that makes sure the whole country speaks with one single voice when it comes to world affairs.
Okay, let's switch gears and merge into the state lane. Education is a perfect example of a state power. Now sure, the federal government might throw some money or guidelines their way, but at the end of the day, it's your state and your local school district that have the final say on how schools are actually run.
Hey, have you ever stopped to think about why you get your driver's license from the state DMV and not like a federal office in DC? Well, this is exactly why. Managing who gets to drive on local roads is a core state power. That's why every state has its own rules, its own tests, and yep, its own little plastic card.
But, and this is a big but, it's not always that neat and tidy. Sometimes the lanes kind of merge. Sometimes the federal and state governments are driving in the exact same lane. Think about it. Both can tax you, both can make and enforce laws, and both play a part in running elections. We call these shared powers.
So what happens when they're both trying to steer the car at the same time? Well, you guessed it. Sometimes these powers collide.
And this isn't just some textbook theory. It happens all the time. Here's a fun fact for you. Some states will pass laws that go directly against federal law. And when that happens, it can set off these huge, messy legal battles. A really great modern example of this is the whole situation with weed laws. At the federal level, it's still technically illegal. But a whole bunch of states have gone ahead and legalized it for medical or recreational use. This creates a really confusing legal situation, and it's a perfect snapshot of federalism in action and in conflict.
Okay, so what's the big takeaway from all of this? Let's nail this down so you don't forget it.
All right, quick heads up, especially if you're studying for the GED. This is a super important tip. The test loves to ask questions about this. They'll give you a specific job, like issuing a passport or running a school, and you'll have to say if it's a state or federal responsibility.
So the trick is just to remember our power lanes metaphor. If you know which government is driving in which lane, who does what, you are going to nail those questions. It's that simple. Know the lanes, and you win the points.
Okay, now it's your turn. After everything we've just talked about, who do you think really has more power in the end? The state government or the federal government? Go ahead, drop your pick in the comments below right now. I want to see what you think. All right? You got your guess locked in? The truth is, it's kind of a trick question. The real answer is that neither one has all the power. The whole system was designed to be this constant balancing act, like a tug of war where they're forced to share power. And, as we just saw, sharing power does not always mean they agree on things. And there you have it. That's the state versus federal breakdown. If this explainer finally made everything click for you, do me a favor and hit that like button. And make sure you subscribe for more quick explainers like this one. Thanks for tuning in.